I know, I said I won't, but I did. Mainly because I had a 20% off coupon, so it was only 60 bucks instead of 72. So I think that's kind of a reasonable price. But yeah, here it is. Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge. And again, I will head into the tutorial now. Afterwards, we will talk a little bit about the quality, what I feel about this. If you want to see swatches, they are either already up here as one of the shorts or they will be up tomorrow, depending on how much time I had to edit, because this video is definitely going up the same day as I film it because I want to give you this one as a Saturday bonus. So now let's head into the tutorial. Okay, so let's start this look with Love Louvre Anarchy. And I use this with a very fluffy brush. And I apply this throughout the crease. Oh no, not the crease. This is more a transition area shade, like above the crease, but underneath the brow. Fairly happy so far, but that was only one shade. So, choices. Let's go now into the Brave shade. This looks quite matching for what I'm anticipating actually. Like the picture that I have in my head of this eye look, this could work for that. And this I apply into the crease, but also with a bigger brush. This is the Refer 15 Max version. If you've never tried Refer brushes, now is your time to do, because they have like a bigger discount than usual because of their suppliers, whatever. They're like at a good price at the moment. And no, I'm not sponsored by Refer. I really wish I am, because I truly enjoy these brushes. I bought all of them with my own money and I'm very, very happy with them. So for more depth, I'm now going into Nirvana, also with Refer. This is the 14 brush. And I apply this directly just into the crease. My initial fear of this palette actually was the fact that I had such bad experiences with Empowered last year. Like even the mattes were like bad in Empowered. They were super patchy, they did not work well, they were the absolute worst I've ever seen in my life. So far from using these three mattes, to be honest, they're much, much better than Empowered. The matte level is actually rose quartz or Mercury retrograde level, which is awesome. So we are now either screwing the look or we're doing something great, but I will be going into the Grunge shade. Grunge. This is an eyeglass, and Huda had these glosses in other palettes too. But the past years, these were the ones like clear glosses and then the bubbles, and a lot of people were like, yeah, this is a Petri dish style. I really enjoyed them, especially when you smash them and mix them together. They were like beautiful cream shades. Last year of those cream shadows were super bad. They did not dry down. They looked absolutely fucking horrible. And this I only touched and swatched and I didn't like it, but this might be a nice base for the shimmers. Let's just try it. I'm using a brush and not a finger because I want to use a light layer of this. Okay. Actually, with a brush, this applies much better than it did with a finger. Okay, wow. Do I actually like this? So I want to be quick now before this dries down. I'm also using the Renegade shade, which is basically just a matte black. And I use a very, very pointy brush, and I use this to soften and blend out the edges here. And then I go in with Nirvana again and soften and blend the edges again. Huh, not what I expected. I'm honest with you. This, and now with like the same vibe mimicked on the lower lash line, could be a look that does not need any metallics. I don't want to say it, but I'm impressed. I really am. Could be because my expectations were really, really low, but so far, this is much better than I expected by like in no way, shape or form. I'm now using the shade Haphazard, and I know this Huda formulation already. This is very flaky. Usually I would do this with a glitter glue, but since I do have this eyeglass underneath, I might do not need a glitter glue for that. So let's just go wild today. And when you mix these shades together, they look very coppery, but like grunge coppery, if that makes any sense. But I applied this shade now on half of the lid, starting in the center and then outwards. Wow. Subtle, but impactful. And I actually enjoy this a lot on top of this gloss shade. I'm now using Rebel, or Rebel, whatever, the shade that had an air bubble inside. Follow me on Instagram, you might have seen this. When I got this, it was like domed, and I literally was able to press it down and push out the air. And I apply this now on the rest of the lid. It's like my shade is not properly pressed because I can literally move at the top layer of the shade, and there's still air underneath, but it's not a problem. But I guess if I would travel, which I don't do, but if I would, this might be a shade that breaks very easy. If you have bought this palette, can you please let me know if your Rebel shades does the same? So this looks needs some kind of liner. I think the Pillow Talk liner is really matching the vibe here. So let me just very sloppily apply this. Should not be too precise. I'm tapping now into the Fearless shade with a shader brush, and I use this to basically just smoke this out. Because when you do eyeliner like this, like I do literally just tug it into my eye, close the eye, and then rub it, you will you're left with like skips of eyeliner underneath your lashes that when you blend them out in time with eyeshadow can lead to this beautiful grungy smoke look. This is basically my signature then from my time when I was 14-year-old, where I did this with a black liner, tug it in the eye, then do this motion, blending out with a black and a pink eyeshadow, like blending, whatever that meant at that time. Do you want me to recreate my signature look when I was 14 or 15 years old? I can totally do that, so you have a good laugh. I'm now tapping into Hope, and since this is meant to be a grunge palette, I want to create a grunge look. That means I do take Hope and smoke it out very far down, like very far. I'm tapping now into the shade Freedom with one of those fluffy but still kind of dense brushes, and I use this a bit underneath to just tone that down, you know. I don't want to have that harsh of a line, but I still want to have a very far blended down look. For the inner corner highlight, I'm using the shade Maverick that is just calling for it. And I apply this on the inner corner, follow a bit in the crease, and of course the tiniest bit on the lower lash line. Ooh. It has a transparent base. I think these shades with transparent bases and then shifting into something silver or purple, whatever, they are very in trend right now, not only in eyeshadow, also in highlighter. Like look at the Chanel Pearly White highlighter. I just bought the Dior luminizer in Pearlescent Glow, same effect. How Many Carats from Fenty. It's all the same vibe, transparent base, and when you shift, there is either glitter or some kind of beautiful sheen going on. That is just so pretty that you cannot get enough of it. Of course, I had some fallout from that shade, so let me just flick off that glitter. So we'll now finish the rest of my face, and then I will come back to you and tell you my thoughts of this look and this palette. Okay, this is now the finished look, and I also applied a nice lipstick. This is the new Dior, I don't know, Forever Lipstick, Sequin, whatever. You apply them, let it dry, press your lips together, and then you have a glitter finish. But TikTok is kind of making me think that all the other people just threw on a highlighter on there, because even though there is glitter, I will have a shorts up very soon so you can see how it works. It's not as intense. It's a very subtle glitter lip that I actually enjoy. But let's talk about the Pretty Grunge palette now. Out of the 18 shades, I think I managed to use 11 if I did not count wrong. And I think regarding to the amount of shades that I use in those videos, I think I have to clear something up. I got a comment very recently under the video where I tried the Xenon palette from Natasha Denona that there is like no purpose of me using so many shades in one look, that it kind of is not what people do actually. Yes, I agree. When I do my looks now, like the second, the third, the fifth, whatever look, I will not use 11 shades for that. But in those first impression looks, please keep in mind, I do this mainly for you. That means I want to give you a nice review. Therefore, I need to use as many shades as possible. And since with social media, it's kind of a like time pressuring thing, you need to get up those reviews really fast or people will not watch them anymore. Therefore, I will forever use as many shades as possible in a first impression so that I can give you a nice overview of the shades. Because just because a matte powder here works nicely does not mean that the same matte powder but with a different color will work the same way. Just to clear that up.
And I have lipstick on my teeth. I really should tell me. Very feminine, I know.
By the way, I also applied the Maverick shade here as brow bone highlight because I'm really now into brow bone highlight lately. But now let's talk about the palette. We have to separate now two different things. Number one, how do I like this palette? I like it very, very much. This is a beautiful palette. But please keep in mind, my opinion might be a little bit biased is the wrong word, but I kind of influenced my opinion myself because first of all, I watched a lot of swatches. Like I have not watched any look or so, just swatching, and my expectations were so low that it might was a bit easy to impress me with that. This palette does not look as the swatches that I have seen from other people. I just want to tell you that. This palette is not nearly as warm as I saw in videos. And I saw so many other swatches, comparison posts, and all of them looked super warm. Like, the swatches that I saw, I can swear to you were not this palette. Personally, now that I see this in person and now that I was able to use them, I think the only warmth that you get in here are these 5 shades. Even Hope is quite a neutral, coolish brown. These 5, they do have kind of a warm undertone. Love Anarchy, maybe only these 4. I mean, I haven't filmed my swatches. Maybe this will change, but swatching is different from using them on the eye with a brush. The best example, the Grunge shade. I am fairly impressed with this one, while last year those creams were shit, and when I tried to apply this with my finger on the back of my hand, it also looked like shit. So it's always a different story. And I know that a lot of influence is the lighting of those persons, but let me tell you, my lighting setup here is all set at around 5,500 Kelvin. That means it's the middle. It's the neutral middle. In the back here, I do have 2 LED strips that you can see that currently change from like a purpley to a greenish light. It's actually white, but the camera picks it up purple. And I get that this might kind of influence my video temperature, kind of, but it's not that I have a specific cool or warm setup here. I try to stay as neutral as possible. I also blocked out the sun, so we do not have any warmth from this window here. I am actually very, very happy with this. I am happy with this eye look. I'm happy with the quality. I'm not so happy with the Rebel shade. It's very, very flaky and crumbly. And again, I had a like air bubble going on there, which was quite weird. I cannot wait to use this palette actually again and then go into shades like Strong AF or Stand Up or Avant-Garde, especially Strong AF. Her marble shades are really, really good. I really enjoyed them in Rose Quartz and in Mercury Retrograde. I do not have the Empowered palette right with me because when I got it last year, I decluttered it after 2 uses because it was such a garbage product. So if you want to see comparison between this and Empowered, could that bird shut up? there are a lot of other creators who do have both and who can serve you this comparison. To me, from what I remember, this palette is absolutely different to Empowered. I feel like Empowered was black and gold. This is black coolish thing. And I think Huda Beauty has a talent for shades like Nirvana, Fearless, Beauty Chaos, Brave, Freedom. Everything that has kind of a lilac-y, purple, aubergine, whatever undertone to it is really, really good from Huda. When I did my brand review, I was absolutely shocked by the fact that all the matte shades that I own from Huda Beauty, besides this, are in the same color family. Matte Obsession's cool. Absolutely fucking stunning palette. Rose Quartz. I don't even have to tell you about the pink cool dream that this is. And Mercury Retrograde is basically, when you look at the mattes, the exact same as Rose Quartz. There are so many duplicate shades in those three palettes. And again, here in the Pretty Grunge, you get that vibe over here again. And I think this is the color family that Huda Beauty can do very, very well. I started this look today being prepared to get disappointed, but I have to actually say that I am fairly impressed and I am very happy that I pulled the trigger on that. Is it worth 72 euro that this palette now is? Actually, this is kind of a thing we have to talk about. I do have my Excel spreadsheet where I write down what I have, shade names and prices that I paid when I bought these. And I was a bit shocked because I get it. Inflation, prices are rising. Okay, but $6? What? Like Natasha did 3, I think, and they did 6. I bought Rose Quartz and Mercury Retrograde for each $66.95 2 and 3 years ago. And this one is in the, when you buy it at Sephora, it's $71.95. And I think on the Huda website itself, it's 72 euro. And I was lucky enough that I had a 20% off coupon at Sephora. So I paid 59 euro, which is a reasonable good price for 18 shades. But I think full price, this is a bit overpriced. No, do not pay full price for that. Absolutely not. I will not do swatch comparisons, but maybe you're interested in a little bit of a comparison overview between the last 3 very cool tone dark eyeshadow palettes that have been released. So first of all, we of course have the Pretty Grunge. Let me hold up the Ghostface palette next to it, and I touched one of the shadows. Now I have eyeshadow on my finger. Oh, this is not easy for me, and I'm very non-coordinated with things like that. Okay, so here you have Ghostface versus Pretty Grunge. No. Completely different vibe. In my opinion. I mean, if you have a different opinion, let me know. Where do you see similarities besides being a bit purple and black, but overall, completely different vibe. Maybe much more interesting is the comparison with Xenon. So here you have Xenon versus Pretty Grunge. Definitely complete different vibes going on. Absolutely different. Let's for a second ignore the Ghostface palette because this is more of a collector's item. To me, not a like necessity or like a true holiday release. But we have basically now 2 holiday palettes. I think this is Natasha's holiday palette. I don't think she does like dedicated holiday releases. Pretty Grunge or Xenon? Okay, you are going to hate me, but let's say Pretty Grunge. And, okay, before you close the video and unsubscribe, the reason is variety. The Xenon palette, I don't know, you should follow me definitely on Instagram because I just very recently posted another look with this. And together with some Cleona shades. I mean, the tutorial for this will be up next Friday, but this is a companion to me. I can do single looks with this, absolutely, but they will turn out all black and gray. Is this something beautiful? Absolutely yes, or in my case blue, because all of these shades are blue in me. Yes, beautiful, but I don't want to wear this every day. I don't want to wear this tone every day. While with the Pretty Grunge, I see more variety. I see that I can even stay, let's say, in this quad down here, or I stay in those 3 mattes and then I add some of those darker shimmers to it, or I stay in this quad, or this, or this, or let's say I stay in this 6 pan and add some black for the liner. Variety is here much, much higher. So if you just want to purchase one of these, but you are indecisive whether you should invest for a Natasha Denona 15 pan, that is basically a black and gray color story, or you should invest the same amount of money. I just want to state that clear. Both of these palettes cost the same, without discounts, of course, like full price, it's the same. Then I would say spend your money on this. But in both cases, do not spend your money without saving money. So if you want to get this, you can get it on the Natasha Denona website. I do have a code in the info box. If you want to get this, first of all, on the Huda website, when you sign up for the newsletter, you can save 15%. And I think this was also for the Americans part of the Sephora sale. I have no idea if that's still going on. But every other retailer like Huda Beauty, they always have at least codes from the newsletter, 10 to 15% off that you can save on a palette like that. So do not pay full price. This is what I'm saying. And if you are patient, even wait for like Black Friday, because I'm pretty sure that this will be heavy discounted for Black Friday. Please tell me down below, did you pick this up? How do you feel about this? Is this also a kind of surprise for you than it is for me? Or are you like, okay, this is just as bad as you imagined? So thank you as always for watching, and I will see you in the next one.